You've sort of, I mean, I'm imagining here, use some of those stories and in a funny way.
Favourite story of the day. Those are the main stories. Carol will be here with the weather in about 10 minutes' time. Thanks as well for your pictures. For those of you who did see the supermoon, some people sending me pictures of pretend supermoons as well, which I've quite enjoyed. I know we talked it up a lot. Some people are mildly disappointed this morning by a lack of moonage. Yeah. In that, yes. Let's return to one of our main stories this morning. The planned high-speed rail line connecting London to the Midlands and the north of England has been controversial since it was first announced. Now, after a 2-year delay, the government's published the route for the second phase of HS2 to Manchester and Leeds. Yes, the hold-ups have been partly down to a question over where exactly in Yorkshire trains should pass through. Our transport correspondent, Richard Westcott, is in one of the areas that could be affected, and new houses northwesterlies. Let's get the latest from the business world now. Victoria is here with more news on EasyJet. Watching for the first time, big drop in profits. Yeah, really big drop in profits. Good morning to you. Profits is missing. That news. That's a shame. Sorry about that. 8:33. Still to come for you on breakfast this morning. We're here later. Quarter life crisis. I know. I like the idea of that. A question I've been wanting to ask you all morning: is that yellow or is it mustard? I think this is just yellow. Okay. What do you think? Mustard's a bit darker than this, maybe? Well, I don't know. It depends what sort of mustard you're looking at. And it also depends how. Talking about that man there, Andy Murray. Watch out for a very loud yellow pair of tennis shorts coming up in just a moment. Well, yellowish. Not from him, though. Not from him. Not from Andy, though. It's much more sober-suited, yes. Playing for Fiji, you get, I think, £60 a match. Playing for England, you get quite a lot more, 4 figures, if not 5 figures. Not too far away from Fiji. I know you mentioned some of the cricket there, but have you seen Australia against South Africa being bowled out for, I think, the second innings? I'm not laughing. 85 and 161 there. Well, yes. But if anyone can do that, it's Australia. Yeah. OK, we'll see what happens. Sally, thank you very much. Thanks, Sally. See you soon. Thanks. Now, after his election as the next US president last week, Donald Trump no doubt has a long list of international leaders to meet in the coming weeks and months. But his first appointment with a British politician wasn't the Prime Minister Theresa May, but UKIP's former leader, Nigel Farage. Yes, the pair met at the weekend after Mr Farage supported Mr Trump's bid for the White House. And the new president-elect cited the Brexit vote as an inspiration during his campaign. Well, let's speak to Nigel Farage for joining us. Oh, I said appointment. Was it an appointment or was it like a by-chance meeting? What do you think of a sort of new special relationship? Is that what the messages you were getting from him? Breakfast, and I'll quote, you may not have time to see the interview, what he said to us. He said, we have government-to-government relations. We have a team of people on the ground in Washington who've already made ties with members of the Trump's transition team. We also have members of the government and cabinet who have very good relationships with senior Republicans in Washington. Do you feel a sense of rejection?
Well, he's wrong, isn't he? Because
that you might be the person placed to do it. Is it a formal role you would want?
No.
Who is going to get, I think, one of those many jobs. Some concern about what he stands for. What can you tell us about him? Some people refer to him as a white supremacist.
Now, yesterday we were doing a bit of moon news, weren't we? And talking
love
about
that.
the supermoon. Despite cloudy conditions, we've still been getting some beautiful supermoon pictures from many of you today from all over the country. Let's have a little look at some of these. This morning, Carol. Lovely to spend the morning with you.
Pleasure, you too. Thank you, Carol. So, after breaking away from what he called a dead-end job and pursuing his real love of comedy, Dane Baptiste became the first Black Briton ever to be nominated for an Edinburgh Comedy Award.
He's since become very well known on the stand-up circuit, but now he's turned his hand to sitcoms. Sunny D follows a young man who's living with his parents, doing a job he doesn't like, basically having a quarter-life crisis. We'll speak to Dane in a moment, but let's have a look.
So just tell us a little bit about your character, kind of based on real life experiences.
Yes, kind of based on real life experience. Brings me to where I am today.
Yeah, and that's because the background to your stories, real life stories, is interesting, isn't it? Because you were like, you know, fully in a normal job, I suppose, before.
Yeah.
You've sort of, I mean, I'm imagining here, use some of those stories and in a funny way.
Yeah, a lot of the people in the stories.
Show. This is where your character is about to be told off by your dad. Okay, so let's have a look.
A shame!
I love what you've done because you sort of use notes of music, also sort of referring other TV programmes as well. Was it Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
Stand-up is it's a lot about sort of race relations and identity politics, isn't it? I mean, do you feel that you're still trying to make a similar sort of point but via a sitcom, or is it very different, do you think?
It's not so very different. I think so far as a